everyone. How are you today? I hope you are doing well. Welcome to You Still Matter, a podcast about seniors and those who love them. I am so excited about our episode today. I'm going to have an opportunity to introduce to some and then reintroduce to others my very special guest. We're going to be actually talking about the reasons seniors should remain active. And this is certainly someone who has remained active for 93 years. Okay, so I'm excited to bring him on. Pastor Williams, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Blessed of the Lord.
Yes, yes, and I am just thrilled to have you with me. I know over the course of me hosting my What is Etiquette Anyway blog talk radio program, you were on countless times co-hosting with me. And so, of course, I certainly wanted to invite you to You Still Matter. Now, I know that you're very active, and of course, that's one of the things we're going to be talking about is encouraging seniors to remain active. But first of all, for those who have not seen you before or are familiar with you, would you please just kind of tell them a little bit about yourself, if you would?
Well, I was born and raised in San Francisco, attended public school, then college, and in 1954, I entered the U.S. Army and served for the next 27 years. Following that, I retired from the Army and entered grad school, completed a MDiv, Master of Divinity, and began doing clinical work at a hospital as a hospital chaplain, and did that for about the next 20 years. And then finally retired to take care of my wife who was ill.
And I know you are always so encouraging and so inspiring. And part of that is because you do remain active. So, if you would just share a little bit about your day, just kind of give us a glimpse into what a day is like for you.
Well, each day has its own characteristics, but generally speaking, I arise around 6:30 because I'm asked to participate in a pastor's prayer meeting, our pastor's prayer meeting each morning. Then usually I have an appointment to attend. For example, on Tuesdays, I have a piano class that I teach at 9 o'clock. Then I have a staff meeting at the church at 10, and then a prayer meeting at the church also from 11 to 1. And after that is over, there's usually someone in the church community that I need to visit, and I usually take care of that. And when I return home, it's time to cook dinner and start preparing for my life group that I have on Wednesday. So each morning there's a prayer group to participate in. Wednesdays and Thursdays usually are sort of open to take care of chores or to take care of appointments. Um, and then on Wednesday night, I have a life group. And Friday morning, I'm involved in another life group. And also on Saturdays, I'm a Catholic prayer life group. So these items take up my time. I usually get to bed around after 11 o'clock. So that's since I'm living by myself, I'm responsible for the chores around the house. And so that also has to be taken into consideration.
Absolutely. And so, wow. So, you're actually a senior that is quote unquote retired, right?
Yeah, As far, yes, as far, I do not receive a salary. I receive income paid from two different sources, but aside from that, no, I'm not on the books for anybody. All of the things I do are primarily in a volunteer capacity.
And so, again, you are staying extremely busy. And of course, I do know as well that when you teach the life groups, you're a phenomenal teacher, number one. And not are you teaching, only are you teaching live, but you also teach virtually as well at the same time. And
Yeah,
so that's
that's
absolutely
leftover. That's
amazing.
a leftover from COVID. We started probably around 24 during the midst of COVID to experiment with Zoom. And then when Zoom ended, or the major portion of it ended, the church made a decision to continue the life groups by Zoom.
Mhm.
And so on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, we have a Zoom meeting. But then some of the people preferred to be in person. And so we now have somewhere from 10 to 15 people at church on Sunday morning for the life group. And there's another 15 or 20 that watch or participate by means of Zoom.
Yeah.
And then our Wednesday class is all Zoom. It's all virtual.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it has worked up until now, and I think it'll probably work for the foreseeable future.
Yes, absolutely. So, if you would just share, we all have challenges. And if you would share maybe one of your challenges that you've had and that you've had to overcome that particular challenge, I think that would just be really encouraging because, again, if someone who is continuously active, we know that, we all experience some things. So if you would share.
Well, in terms of challenges, and I would identify one physical challenge that I experienced, and that was in 1995. I had been, as I say, I served as a chaplain at Georgia Baptist Hospital from 85 up until 2002. And so approximately 1993, I was walking through the hospital. I saw this poster that said, "This is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, week, whatever, and you should go get checked out." The thought of it never even occurred to me. I never even thought about prostate, didn't even know what a prostate was. But since I was in the hospital setting, it was very easy for me to find a urologist and one that I knew. And he ran his check and said he didn't see anything suspicious yet, but come back in a year. When I came back in a year, he said, "Yes, we see something suspicious. We'll take a biopsy." They did, but they didn't find anything at that time. He said, "Come back another year." Came back the third year. And this time he said, they took the biopsy and said, "Oh, yes, it is malignant. You do have prostate cancer." And in the next breath, he said, "The best thing for you to do is have surgery to remove it." I did check with another doctor who agreed with that finding, and so within 2 weeks, I had prostate surgery and returned to work the following week. Um, and my attitude toward it was that, well, I had been prayed for by the people at the church. And so everything went fine as far as the surgery is concerned.
Mhm.
And I just thank the Lord that that ended the issue of the possible effects from having prostate cancer.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's all I can say about it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And again, of course, there are many seniors that are going through different health challenges, and I'm sure that your testimony will certainly help them. Especially, you said you went back to work the next week, right? So I don't know how many people would be able to do that, but but anyway, you're certainly a testament to God's faithfulness and healing and just continuing to move on. He certainly has had his hand on your life,
I
and
agree with that. Yes.
yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for sharing that. So any seniors that may be dealing with health challenges, what would you say to them, if whether it's
Well,
cancer or whether it's
first, if
whatever?
they, yeah, first, if they have a relationship with God, I would
Mhm.
certainly encourage them to commit that matter to God and ask Him for healing, and also ask Him for wisdom as to how to proceed with dealing with the particular affliction, whatever it may be. And if a means of treatment is available, then um, barring no message from God that you shouldn't do it, I would suggest that you go ahead and pursue that treatment, remembering that healing still is in the hands of God. So I think that God is hears our prayers. He answers in various ways, but whether the issue or the problem is resolved satisfactorily, you do know that if you're a Christian, God is in charge and can give you the peace and the assurance that He is with you in this particular event.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, faith is very, very important,
That's right.
especially if you are a believer, right? Um,
That's the key, and that's where it begins. What is your relationship with God? And how are you being in compliance with what God wants you to do? How are you demonstrating your faith? And how are you being obedient to what the Word of God has to say? And how are you participating in the family of God, in the respective religious groups that are available?
and I also want to ask you this question. Now, I know on days that you may not feel well, right? How is it that you just keep pushing through and keep going and keep going? And again, going back to making sure that as seniors that we stay active. So, and we know we all have days that we might wake up and say, "Oh my gosh, oh my hip is hurting or my knee is hurting." I know that's for me. I do know that. But how do you just continue to keep going and going?
Well, I think it started in my childhood because my mother was a firm believer in the healing power of God. So if I told her that I wasn't feeling good, or if I came down with some kind of childhood sickness, she would anoint me with oil, pray, and expect me to get up and get on about my business. And so that was the way I lived my life as a child. And then when I entered into the service, basically speaking, the attitude of the Army is that you don't have, there is a provision for health care and for treatment, but you better be sure that it is serious uh, uh, before you expect any time off. So during the 27 years I was in the service, I was away from service, yes, I was away from service probably not more than 5 to 7 days. Um, and during that time, I had the usual issues of colds and stomach issues,
Mhm.
but I usually made it to my duty station and performed and worried about and didn't worry about it. Just put the matter in the hands of God and go on. So long as I had strength to move, I would do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I developed that habit, and so right at the present time, it really takes something serious. Even when I had COVID, the first day I had COVID, I stayed in bed, but after that, I was up moving around and really didn't experience any significant symptoms from that COVID.
Mhm.
So the Lord has blessed, but I say this: the Lord has blessed me to do that. It's certainly not something entirely on my own, but I do have an attitude that as long as my feet can carry me and I can get up and go, I will endeavor to do what needs to be done on a given day.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. That's certainly encouraging, and it has encouraged me, and I'm sure it will encourage everyone who views, this broadcast. And so, again, I want to thank you so much, Pastor Williams, for just being present and just always here to share. You're a man of such wisdom and certainly do appreciate you. I mean, all the time. And I know you've agreed to come back on at a later time to talk about how it's never too late to achieve new goals. And one of the goals that you achieved just, I think, last year, is that correct? Is you became an author. And can you just share the name of the book and the subtitle? And we're going to definitely have you come back to talk a little bit about that as well. And of course, it is Black and White Piano Keys, right? And challenges of a Black man living in a white context. So we'll have you come back on to talk about that. All right? Well, you agreed to do that, right? Okay, I think I may have lost him, but again, he will be back to speak about his book and how he became an author at the age of 92. So thank you all so much for viewing this. So excited again about this new show called You Still Matter. And I want to remind you that no matter how you feel, always remember, no matter what you're going through, you still matter. So thanks again. Take care. I'll see you soon. God bless and bye for now.